Hi, I'm not going to keep ploughing through the textbook. I've created videos covering the chapters 1 through 4 already, and I thought we should take a brief pause before going on to the next one. And I thought it might be nice to understand a little bit about why I'm getting you to use GitHub and why I'm getting you to use those actions. When you're in a software company, the thing that makes you money is the software that you make. And the way that used to happen is all the people would contribute their changes to the code, and then somebody would be tasked with building the final product, and then somebody would test that, and then any changes, and you might have to build it again and test it again, and eventually it'd be released. That is a very intensive process, and it's a very expensive process. So what people have found is that automating some of it is a good idea. And that's where continuous integration and continuous deployment comes from. What continuous integration means is, at the moment, you're the only person who can access your repositories for your assignments. Okay, I can too, but no other students can. So nobody else can contribute to your repository. That doesn't happen in a software company. In a software company, everybody in the company who does software, who develops software, has the potential to be able to change the GitHub repository. Mightn't be on GitHub, but they have the chance to change the repository. And so that, because they can do that, their stuff gets integrated very often. And that's what continuous integration is about. Now, it's possible that a change somebody makes will introduce a bug. And sometimes it's likely that that'll happen. But the way we try and stop that happening is by adding tests. And that's why I'm getting you to have a look at this test in the latest assignment, first.test.js. And there's nothing to this test. It's just, first of all, checking that there's the opening HTML tag, the closing HTML tag, and at least the opening part of the doc type tag, right? And you can imagine that you could do lots of more complicated tests, and that's what happens, right? So if I commit my code to the company's code base, and one of these continuous integration tests, one of these actions, fails, it's usually up to me to fix that problem. I broke it, so I have to fix it. That may mean backing out my changes until I figure out what I did wrong. Because if those tests don't pass, the company doesn't have a product, or at least it doesn't have a working product. So that's what the continuous integration piece is. The continuous deployment piece is a little different, right? All that's happening here is something's happening on a GitHub server. But what deployment means is I want to take what I just pushed into GitHub and I want to put it on our website, for example. And that's a little different. But you can do it in exactly the same way. I have an app that has a website, right? It's not a very interesting website, but it is a website, and it has it's available on the public internet. Sometimes I make changes to this website, and when I do that, I push to the repository, right? And my repository has 55 unit tests at least on the Python code that I'm running to run that website, right? And you can see it takes about 64 seconds, nearly 65 seconds to run all of those tests. And that's nice. But you can see I have another option, which is deploy server. And that means that I can take the code that I just ran, and hopefully I ran it successfully, right? There's that green dot with the white check mark in it. And I can then run that and deploy it to the website. I think I showed you this before. I actually take the so what's that, F20C. I actually take the latest version, which is this one, right? You can see the full one, maybe I can't see the full one, but this is the F20C374. F20C374. That is the version of the code that has been pushed. Now what should happen is if I run that deployment, I should get 892E. And I'm a little worried that there's a failure there, and I'm not quite sure why. I'm just going to rerun it to see what happens. But what I should be able to do is go here and deploy the server. Twitter has disabled me being able to send tweets whenever I update, so because of their changes to the API. So I haven't got around to fixing that yet, so let's see what happens. That's going to take about a minute to run, and I think that is going to have to wait until, oh, there we go. No. There's the deploy server running. Oh no. My deployment failed. I'm going to have to check that. Oops. Let's just view page source again. And we have got a different version number there. Let's see if we can figure out which version got put. It's got a CA. So this one got put. Anyway, I'm going to have to figure that out. I haven't spent much time on this for a while. So you can see what's happening. Those actions are very powerful. For a start, I can change things and get them tested immediately. Right? I reran that and it's just finished. And those, oh, this time the tests only ran in 27 seconds. So it depends on the exactly what machine gets called by GitHub to run. And then I can once I'm happy that that's passed, I can then deploy to the server using this other workflow. I've set this up so that it has to be done manually. I don't want it to go there as soon as the other one is finished. But you can. Some companies do deploy immediately that all the tests are passed. Some people get a little want to do a little bit more manual testing before that happens. Anyway, I thought it would be good for you to see why I'm doing what I'm doing with GitHub and GitHub Actions and auto grading. Okay, so that's a quick video